All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone. If you guys can believe it, it's Monday once again, and we are working on chapter 8 from the book, The Practical Work on Self. And okay, Alka. And I was thinking about how to approach this chapter for the week. Uh, and as I started reading the chapter, I realized that the best way to approach this would be to read it uh, with you all, since this is also a very short chapter. I believe it might be worthwhile if we can read it and then we can go from there. How does that sound to you guys?
Okay,
Okay, thank you. I'll start. I'll start
okay.
sharing my screen. Bernie, you do you want to get us started?
Yes, just thank you. Little more scroll up. Little more, little more. That's it. Thank you. So we are on chapter 8 from the practical world of self, and is harmless whim. And we have first reading. It says to gratify whim can be a beginning method of accumulating the will to awaken the machine. Although we can never really stop an automatic manifestation of the machine until we are able to exert the will of the machine, the effort, although guaranteed to fail, can serve as a reminding factor to activate attention, and at the same time we can use the inevitable feelings of frustration to help us to awaken the machine. The struggle against the machine's automatically arising negative manifestations, we are helpless alone. We can form a work circle, a circle of friends who can try to help each other to remember to struggle. Thank you.
Well, sorry. Any human being with a minimum of effort can learn to live in the higher dimensions. With the freedom we now have to teach these ideas, although this will change very soon, nobody really is forced to remain buried in a sleeping machine. The very beginning of this new life in which we prepare ourselves for life in the higher dimensions begins with the solemn vow to never again allow the machine to manifest negativity. Those who knew us before may consider us less interesting than we were before because our machines no longer manifest so easily. But this is the price we pay. Thus,
When exerting an effort to invoke our presence and to contain negative emotions and manifestations of the machine, why should we worry about the impression we make on others? After all, they will all be dead soon anyway, if they aren't already. When we make efforts to take responsibility for the manifestations of the machine, we also gain will to awaken the machine and at the same time activate the higher centrums to some degree. But the non phenomenal self has no will other than the will of attention. First,
We can influence the machine in subtle ways, as a woman exerts her influence over a man, but we cannot act directly upon the machine. Because we have no will over the machine, we cannot oppose it. On the other hand, we can use the force of the machine's own power to overcome it. Deliberate exaggeration of a negative manifestation can help us to gain will over the machine, eventually bringing the manifestations into the voluntary. When it is voluntary, we are able to manifest it or not as we choose. Involuntary habits cannot be activated intentionally or stopped at will. A first step in the attainment of will is to voluntarize every habit. To gratify a harmless whim can be a method of activating real will, which is to say, the will of the non phenomenal self to awaken the machine over the will of the machine to remain asleep. Pass.
We must take special care not to cultivate these whims into something bigger than ourselves, so much so that we become enslaved to them as we are to our ordinary desires. Small things we do not really want for ourselves are the only things we can really call whim. I'll repeat this paragraph once again. We must take special care not to cultivate these whims into something bigger than ourselves, so much so that we become enslaved to them as we are to our ordinary desires. Small things we do not really want for ourselves are the only things we can really call whim. To compel the machine to do one small thing not desired by our organism or personality, and also not automatic in the conditioning of the organism, gives us the taste of real will on a small scale. And I pass.
The transformed being stands on the edge of creation, facing the unknown, the non yet manifested. The sleeping machine is enslaved by the past and can only reenact what has been. The future is the past. Time is the key. But to open this door, to penetrate into the present, we must develop the will to awaken the machine. The machine has no real will. What it calls will is just strong desire. A machine with powerful desires is said to have real will, and a machine with weak desires is styled a weak person. If we sacrificed everything in life just to gratify one or two powerful desires, we would be said to be a person of strong will. But even a very powerful dog will someday die like a dog. Because everything in the machine is isolated and fragmented, its state can change radically in one moment. It can explode in the throes of a personal disaster, which seems to be the end of the world, just by one small change in diet, sex, or even as a result of an unexpected change in the weather. NFS.
often what we call free will is simply accommodation between conflicting desires and repulsions. The usual result of this artificial mechanical will is either hesitation or blind certainty. We think of these mechanical impulses as manifestations of our free will, just because we seem to be able to choose, and of course, guided by our own conditioning between hesitation and stupidity. But the machine is just a machine, and the machine will always make its decision whether we are aware of this or not. Choose for yourself several small whims not presently existing in your ideas of self gratification, but be sure these are not important. It's best to choose impartially or at least suspiciously so that you do not choose something which the organism or personality would like. And I pass.
Find something you would like to gratify for yourself. If it is mildly disturbing to the organism or personality, so much the better. But be certain it is not disrupting or dangerous. Then deliberately gratify these whims. So long as everything remains harmless to yourself and most of all to others, go to the most elaborate lengths possible to gratify them. The smaller and more insignificant the whim, the better. But again, I caution you, always maintain harmlessness to yourself and to others.
Thank you. And that is the end of the chapter 8. So let's just sit with what we just read for a minute. And if anyone has anything that they would like to say or something that popped up, please go ahead. Yes, sir.
In the first page, yes, a little more, a little, scroll a little more, please. Okay, there. I take notice, at least, I am cautious that the very beginning of this new life in which we prepare ourselves for life in the higher dimensions begins with the solemn vow to never again allow the machine to manifest negativity. I have my Spanish version, and here it's much clearer to me the translation, the error in the translation, because to my understanding, we tend to think that the manifestations of negativity is, you know, the usual, what we say, negativity, anger, violence, whatever. But I think this could not be the appropriate uh, idea, because we have read many times that everything the machine expresses is negativity. I don't know if you the group or David or you share that. I'm asking you.
Yes, that's a good point, Bernie, because in many of the previous chapters we have read multiple times where it says that the sleeping machine only manifests negativity. And then we have also read that we should be using the manifestations, the negative manifestation more so than the positive ones for our work. But then here it is saying that we must take a vow to never again allow the machine to manifest negativity.
So
So there is,
purposes of this, negative manifestation means the mechanical manifestation. You know, for instance, let's say someone knocks on your door, you open the door, and as soon as you open the door, you smile and say, "Oh, hi." You know, that might be a machine manifestation, right? Can you see that?
yes.
That's a negative manifestation.
Okay, from the perspective of the person who just came in, he sees me, he sees the person is inviting me with an open smile, and he thinks that it's a nice feeling, or he might be feeling
Sure,
welcome.
absolutely, yeah. From that person's point of view, but we're not talking about that person's point of view.
Right.
What's going on in your machine that could be a manifestation of negativity. Like, for instance, let's say you feel angry at somebody, but you don't express it. That's good. That's you're not putting your stuff out into the world, right?
Yeah.
So I think can we say like anything that manifests mechanically is manifesting negativity, and anything, even if it looks like from the superficial or from the periphery, it looks like, say, I'm angry, but I'm present and I know what I'm doing, what my machine is like doing, even if I'm angry or shouting. But if I'm present within, it could be like termed as non-negative
Right,
manifestation.
right.
Mm. Mm.
Could we say then, David, that the automatic reaction is negativity, and if we voluntarily, the best that we can say voluntarily, um, um, express whatever, um, not reaction, instead of reaction could be at least less negativity. I don't know if we put it
Yes.
positively. It's not easy to I think.
Yeah, we keep trying to think about stopping our negative manifestations. It's the wrong approach. The approach is awakening the machine. Presence and attention is like taking a pill that's an antidote to the sleeping machine.
So, David, in this paragraph where it says never allow again the machine to manifest negativity, then
Yeah.
it's talking in terms of being more present and avoid mechanical manifestations.
Talking about living from the essence rather than the machine.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the answer is, yeah, that's a solemn vow, and you can't do it right now. You don't have the strength to do it. But making the vow puts a energetic into the soup that helps a little bit, okay? Doesn't mean don't make the vow. Be realistic, you know. Okay.
I think the vow is like a goal, right? That this is the goal
Sure.
to attain. So at least look forward to that goal. That even when
Yeah.
we are not able to achieve today, but one day that is the goal to achieve.
100%.
Yes.
So look to yourself, and this is a challenge that I sometimes do. Have you grown in this manner during the last year? Can you see evidence that something has changed?
Last
Uh,
year, I
1 year.
So, I was reading this chapter and I was prepping for the week, and I started having this question about the harmless whim that the chapter is referring. A whim is something that occurs out of the blue, or something that surprises you, or something that you want to gratify yourself with in that moment. And we are trying to use that for our work. We are trying to voluntarize that process. So, the whim that, let's say that we decide on specific whims for our week as a part of the exercise. Should I be planning those whims beforehand, or should I let them occur on as they occur?
Well, finish reading the chapter. What does the chapter say?
Well, it says make a list of few whims that are harmless to the personality, to the machine. But then whims are not really planned. They just something that you have an impulse towards in that moment.
So
So
then,
like,
so what you're saying is this is impossible. The chapter by
no,
definition, you can't do it.
no, what I wanted is to for the group to think about this, and like and maybe discuss what is really being meant by whim and how
Okay,
to
well,
approach this.
go down to the next page, and then the chapter choose for yourself. Is that maybe it's the next
I
page?
think the last page, I think.
Oh,
There you
there
go.
it is. So choose for yourself several small whims not presently existing in your ideas of self-gratification. So what does that mean?
Something that I would normally wouldn't do or wouldn't
Okay.
like to do.
All right, leave it at that then. Leave it at that. Just something you would normally not do, but it's kind of a harmless little thing, right?
Right. So I
So,
was thinking about this,
okay.
and I was thinking I don't like barbecue sauce. It's a little bit sweet, on the sweet side. Uh, so I always I like to eat wings, chicken wings, and I always go with the Parmesan garlic sauce or Thai curry or anything like that. And I'm always repelled with barbecue sauce, something I would never select. Would you
And
call that a valid whim?
I don't know why, but Thai curry with chicken wings sounds like a whim for sure.
It does?
the whole thing.
No, no. You would. So there is this Buffalo Wild Wings in the US where they have a signature Thai curry, which
Oh
I
my
really,
God.
really love on a
Oh,
chicken wing.
you're
So you
you're
better not talk
perfect.
about that.
You're a perfect customer.
So, but the whim is something that I want to do. Yes, so at that particular moment.
Yeah.
So, but then EJ is saying here that this select a whim that I wouldn't want the personality to like, or something that the personality wouldn't want to do. So I'm kind of confused because it's being approached both ways, it seems.
No, it isn't. This is your brain. Okay. You're just your brain just keeps going like this. And it goes, but it can't be this, it can't be this, but what about this and what about that and da 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 da. And then you come up with a really nice whim, but then you go, but here's 15 other things about it. Just do it, dude. Do something like that. Pick a couple of those, like you and your chicken wings thing. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but some part of a chicken, I guess. And but so you go to eat it and you put on the sauce, the barbecue sauce, which you don't like, right? But then really get into it. Become the barbecue sauce man. Share with your friends. Say, oh my gosh,
This is the best thing ever.
these are so good with the barbecue sauce. I forgot how good they were. It's just an example, okay? A whim.
But
Maybe
David, it's saying that you have to do something you like, not don't like. In this paragraph, it says something you would like.
okay, how do you define it then, Nishant? What's a whim for you?
I mean, I like the atomic wings, for
Comic?
the
The atomic
atom.
wings.
Atomic wings?
Yeah,
What is that?
that's the best flavor you can get on
Yeah.
wings.
Is that the name of a store for atomic wings? Like
Store is Wingstop.
Wingstop. That's funny.
I think it might be the spicy sauce that he's talking
Yeah,
about, the atomic wings.
yeah. But in this paragraph, it is saying that something you like. So if I like atomic, then just do it.
Sure, but notice the whim part of it. Like you're drawn to do it, right? Oh,
Hmm.
I'm gonna have that that wing here. And it's so good, and stuff like that. What is the purpose of this entire book and the two books that we've done before us?
Mhm.
Practice, right? The practical.
This is practical, but the purpose of these efforts is to awaken the machine and live from the essential self.
Yeah.
And this particular paragraph or this particular chapter just said, here's another way to develop yourself really intense self-observation.
Hmm.
And you
David,
notice there's like no power to it. You just go, atomic wings. You're driving along and you just suddenly your car is parked and you're giving the person $10 or whatever it is, atomic wings. Watch that and watch your gratification. So it's just you're capturing a little thing that's a whim. He says, this is, remember in Invocation of Presence, he says about becoming the actor, right? Or it's throughout many things that he talks about. Become the actor. And the actor is the person that wants that wings. Okay? Do they have chicken wings in India?
Oh yeah, good ones.
Vegetarian.
They have
Not for you.
vegetarian chicken wings. I love it.
I'm vegetarian. but
Okay.
there are too
Yes.
many things that I fancy.
So I had one class we're we're not quite ready for this, but where we would pick a whim for the person.
Oh,
So the class would get together and pick a whim for Nikhil, pick a whim for Bernie, Nishant, Swati. Okay.
I was thinking something like that for this week, and I was like, nah, this is way too much,
How would I know what could be a whim for somebody else?
Exactly.
No,
You
we just,
don't know. Just, like what if you forced me to wear a hat whenever I went out?
That's fun.
I have hats. I have two hats. I have some other hats too, but I mean, I don't consider those ball ballpark, the ball hats. I don't call that a hat.
That's
cowboy
interesting.
hats.
So cool. We should definitely do it.
So, I was thinking that maybe for this chapter, we should spend 2 weeks on it and
Oh,
have the
come
second
on.
week be the practical aspect of it, where we
Yeah.
follow through with the whim for the week and come back
Yeah.
and discuss how it goes and maybe gather some data and discuss together.
Are
Imagine
we
having the
including
whims
each
of
other?
all the group members together. Alka, go ahead.
So are we really picking up whims for the other people?
I guess the best thing to do is just pick a few whims for yourself for the next week and then
That's
just
good.
follow through with that. I think,
Guys,
yes, sir.
um, contrary to what David is saying, I don't, I don't feel very comfortable with this definition. Let me express as as it comes. We tend to think that if we are reluctant to something that we like, it is a sacrifice. So that gives us some kind of power or whatever. I don't think the exercise goes in that line. But I am confused, as I think Nick, you said, and Nishant also. It's the description is confusing to me. That's what I try to say about
Okay. How would
the
you
fact.
do it though? Give me an example of how you're going to do it.
That is the point. I can't think of an example, David. That is so. So I'm
Do
a bit
you,
confused.
okay. Once again, Bernie, you're caught in your brain and all this stuff, trying to figure it out this. But what do you do during the day? Like, for instance, do you gamble? Are you a gambler? Do you go to the casino every 2 or 3 days?
No,
Never. Okay, well, forget that. Um, do you go to, you ride a bike?
yes.
Oh, but not in the winter, right?
What? Not what?
You in the winter time, you don't win
No,
ride.
yes. I think of myself that I'm young. I go there, and so I get a cold every time. I I do that. Yes, but I ride bike. Yes, motorbike.
Good. So ride a bike, and while you're riding the bike, just pretend that you are like, a 23-year-old Superman, right?
Mm.
Ah, good. I'm riding my bike. You get to the coffee shop and you're making sure all the girls see you as this powerful 23-year-old. Here's your bike stuff. You ride as your bike. Da, da, da. Something like that, Bernie. Okay, that's all. Something stupid and simple. Put yourself in a slightly different position than you normally are and pay attention to it.
Okay.
Something like that, nothing else.
So
Yeah.
the point is not to not do it, it's
The
to observe it.
point is to develop the presence and attention of the essential self. So you're putting yourself a little bit into something weird. Wait till we get to chapter. Oh, we may not want to do that chapter. Hang on. It's where is it? Yeah, that's gonna be tough. There it is, 16. Bless you.
Bless you.
Salud.
Get it out. Get it out.
Salud.
That's 16 is the red-faced donkey. Okay.
Wow.
That when I did this, the first time I did this, I was living in basically I was living in Boulder and Denver, Boulder, and I went to a coffee shop. It was about 8 o'clock at night in Boulder along that strip they have
Wall Street.
the mall, I guess it is. And I went to this little coffee shop. There was nobody in there except the guy running the thing. And my whim was to sing my order to him.
Did you record it by any chance?
It was really hard to do. Very, very difficult, but I did it.
There are these Instagram reels on singing your order through these days.
Oh, that's a nice one, David.
Very
That's
nice.
great. By the way, Alka, your voice is a little bit low.
Okay, sorry. I
There you
just
go.
put
Perfect.
the mic
Thank
on the
you.
table.
David is changing his hat.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So a lot of the work that we're going to need to do here as individuals is to kind of make it a little more simple. Get out of your head and just do things, you know. Maybe you're going to raise chickens or I don't know, but doing something different and finding yourself in there. Like maybe you never say hello to somebody, your colleagues. I don't think these people were like that. Start saying hello. Just maybe like Alka, you work I think sometimes you go into the office and you work in an office setting.
Yes.
Yeah, and go to that one person that you never say hello to, and you just go, "Hey, Jimmy, just wanted to say hi today."
Okay.
And do that with 2 or 3 people until they arrest you,
I sense the reluctance in your voice, Alka.
for being so nice.
I'm just thinking I anyways have to travel. Like traveling is such a difficult task for me. So I have to travel again next week.
Yeah,
That's an uncomfortable thing anyway that I'm doing. So I'll go to that office and then say hi to everyone
there
in
you
person.
go. Yeah, and just so it's kind of like not a big deal, but it kind of shakes things up a little bit. Okay.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, I think I have a better understanding
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So barbecue sauce it is, Nikhil.
Yes. Yes. Reluctant. I don't want to eat it,
This
but
one's the best, David.
How many hats?
This guy wears many hats.
There is a oh, it's valid, or maybe it is valid for this exercise. Edward de Bono is a very interesting guy. The lateral thinking. At least in the 70s, 80s, he was very renowned thinker, and he used to say that personalities that we have, the eyes that we have, taking a hat, then changing to another hat.
Yeah.
And that was very interesting exercise because your hat, you change your clothes.
This,
You are a different person.
this will help you do that. Will help us, Bernie. This kind of thing, taking one little slice that's kind of unimportant. But if you do it right, it's going to kind of shake up people around you. Like if you go there to the wings thing with your friends, Nikhil, and you go, "Oh my gosh, barbecue sauce is so good," and they go, "I thought you didn't like barbecue sauce."
Yeah,
And you go, "I've always liked barbecue sauce."
love it.
Like tomorrow, I'll probably go over to my neighbor's house here, and for whatever reason, and I'll wear a hat. I'll wear this hat, and she'll say, "What are you doing?" I says, "What do you mean? Your hat?" And I go, I'm going to say, "I always wear a hat when I come to see you." She'll give me a hard time.
He'll be like, who is this guy? Who is this new David?
So this is like the time to have fun. There you go, Bernie.
It's my whim.
That's a good
And
win. That's a
yes.
good one.
All wear hats.
Yeah. And so it's like we're tricking ourselves. We're there you go.
If someone just starts the live stream on YouTube and sees this part, they're like, oh, what the hell are these guys? I thought I came in here to learn practical work on self.
Well, what we haven't done, which is almost impossible for this group, is jokes. I mean, somebody do a joke session for, let's see, how many people are there? 6? Some people may not participate, so just say 5. Okay. And then you have to do a joke performance for 5 minutes, not just here's my joke, done, finished, next. No, you have to entertain us as a comedian.
Yeah. I would like to.
Nikhil, if I knew you better, I would try to pick some harmless whims that you have and duplicate those, but only when I'm with you. So
So it seems like we have to pick something that is out of the realm of our personalities' uh, choices. So it's something that we usually don't do.
just do something whimsical. Just,
There you go. Yeah.
just whatever it is, Nikhil,
Like I used to suggest these exercises that you go to a marketplace and distribute these cards, or you go to a marketplace and distribute these notes, or say something, get someone to do something.
or
You
go
know,
to the section where they have fruit, something the size of apples, because I don't know, and you go there and you go, "Oh, these are really nice apples," and then you start juggling them. Yeah, and you go, "Yeah, they'll do." put them in your basket. Stuff like that, that you go to the seafood marketplace and you go, they have tuna there, let's say, and you go, can I get the entire tuna? I want the entire fish, and of course they can't give that to you, but stuff like that, like it's not harmful, but it's like kind of weird, right? That
Yeah.
might be a whim. But just pick something and have fun with it this week. This will be a week of fun. See what happens.
Yeah, I like this part of this exercise because on the outside, nothing really seems to be happening, but you are working internally, you are working on yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the
Like
most
when I think of it, I've done a lot of things in my life like that. Like wearing unmatching earrings,
yeah, stuff like that.
Shoes,
socks.
different shoes. Yeah.
In
No,
the 60s, at least here, it was called happening,
yeah,
brackets.
like
You
I
went
have.
to happening and you made a bit crazy, but nothing serious, no? But you made something unusual, and it was interesting because it woke up. You wake up and people a bit in that moment. It's interesting because it's unusual, no? Hmm. Interesting.
It's a little bit of a practice of freedom. It's like practicing a moment of freedom here. And just have fun with it and give into it. Like this week, I'm going to become really serious about wearing hats. Oh, okay. Are we set? Do we know what we're going to do? Do we have an idea of how to pick something anyway? Possibly.
My whim is set. I have to go travel and say hi to everyone personally, right?
Okay, that's fun. Something like that.
I'll probably start with the wing thingy, but I'll think of something else as well because we for the week.
I tend to be a serious individual, old style. So I go to my gang in the coffee. I will enter laughing hysterically for a while,
Yeah.
then stop.
Stuff like that. That's exactly it, Bernie. Stuff like that, the old guys that are sitting there talking about serious, important things. Well, if you really want to get dangerous, Bernie,
No, 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 no.
you can take a fart cushion with you.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
And
Oh yeah,
and
good idea. I'm going to Bangalore. I'll carry one and go, hi.
I have the box. Yes.
and Elka, you can take a fart machine on the plane, particularly if you're sitting in the middle, and
I have.
Oh dear.
you're ready, Bernie.
Really, and
Yes.
it's gonna be really
You can
fabulous.
buy it. You can buy it in eBay. It's called Sound Machine. You have all.
Cool.
Bernie's
Yes.
already prepped.
Anyway. Oh my God. I'm a children. I'm a child.
I
That's
Okay.
the
love
point.
this. I want to get this thing. The sound
That's
machine.
That's the point, Bernie.
Yes, I
Find
believe so.
your find your inner
I,
simplicity, you know? Yeah. It's so much fun to interact with a child, 2 or 3. Maybe it's either a boy or it's a little girl with her dolls, and she goes, "Okay, like, okay, so Mary is here, and she's about to, she's gonna have make the tea, and then Margaret over here, she's just." And they just create this incredible world out of nothing. And there's a beauty to that, right? There's just a beauty to that. Wait a minute. There's a paragraph we forgot to read. We have another minute. Nikhil, I've got to go. I've got to get this for you. Um, Nobody emphasized it because this is you don't need to share it again. Well, maybe some people don't have the book. Anyway, the transformed being stands, it's on the like there we go. The transformed being stands on the edge of creation. What a
yes,
beautiful phrase, right?
yes, yes,
We stand on the edge of creation, facing the unknown, the not yet manifested. Be that person this week.
yes.
Wow.
Isn't it interesting how we kind of missed that sentence?
The sleep enslaved by the past. Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. So let us stand on the edge of creation this week, okay? And find out what the not yet manifested might be for each of us.
All right, then. Sounds good. Let's come back next week with our experiences. And I look forward to hearing all of your stories and sharing mine.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very much.
guys.
Thank you so much.
You.
Thank you,
I love
everyone.
you.